Well, today's readings are pretty bold. For our first reading, we have a classic reference to the book of Ecclesiastes, Vanity of Vanities. And then for the gospel, we have a restated lesson with practically the same example. So the case in point today is that it is vanity to work hard all your life to acquire stuff, because there's a pretty good chance you won't even get to enjoy it, and it goes to someone else when you die. Kind of a harsh lesson today. What are we supposed to do with this? Well, as usual, when in doubt, go back to the definition of the key word. Vanity is a rich term, and it's practically unchanged from the original Latin. Vanity means excessive concern for your appearance, qualities, or your achievements, or it is something doomed to failure, a vain hope, or it's something that is ultimately worthless or lacking in real significance. So, yeah, vanity is always bad, because you're either acting out of, an obsession with yourself as if you're the most important person ever, or you're doing something doomed to failure, or something that doesn't make any difference one way or another. So, assuming that none of us are narcissists, we should all be on the same page so far. Because puffing up your own sense of importance out of general principle, that is not healthy. And it's essentially narcissists that don't understand that. And whether you're a narcissist or not, nobody wants to be doomed to failure or have their efforts be meaningless. So that is all very easy to agree with. Vanity is bad. So why on earth do we have two holy men telling us that it's vain to work hard? I mean, that should be hard for us to accept as Americans. Because isn't a strong work ethic one of our grand, values? Someone with a strong work ethic can hold their head high. Speaking personally for just a minute, I actually think Wisconsin culture is even more respectable in that regard than the national average. I remember in high school, one of our teachers said to us, looked us straight in the face and said to us in black and white English, he said, "You are so fortunate that you are growing up in Wisconsin, because you're growing up in a part of the country where we have a strong work ethic, and that is something you're growing up and developing your own behavior on. In other states, presumably where he was from originally, he said people just wouldn't show up to work because they didn't feel like it, and the entire community collectively suffers over that poor work ethic." That was one of the more memorable things from those 4 years that a teacher ever said. And with Wisconsin being such an easy state to make fun of, it's good to be reminded that there are, in fact, noble qualities to us in our way of life here. More than a few. And dare I say, a strong work ethic is certainly up there. Anyway, pardon the tangent. The question repeated, why is hard work an act of vanity? Well, the answer is that we're referring to hard work done for the sake of greed. Because when we hear greed, we think of a greedy person. We think of someone who wants stuff that they haven't really earned. We think of thieves, con men, people who take more than their fair share. The people that go to the all-you-can-eat buffet and they eat all they can eat, and then they take back as much as they possibly can get away with back to the car. That's a greedy person. But what Jesus in Qoheleth, the writer of Ecclesiastes, is getting at is that greed expressed by hard work and honest labor is equally vain. It may not seem like that at first, But overworking for the sake of stuff, of pure gain, is vanity. It is an excessive concern about your accomplishments. It is doomed to failure as a method of actually making you happy. And it's a pursuit of something that is lacking in real significance. So what if your vanity doesn't break any laws? Okay, fine, you're not a literal con man. I guess that's something. But a father who works 80 hours a week in the office, that is vanity. That person has made, in all likelihood, negligible progress in the things that truly deserve his attention and effort. Now, thankfully, the solution here is easy and obvious. If you are working too hard with a little more to show for it than a paycheck, find a way to make time for the things that will fuel your soul. Take a step back from the financial concerns that plague your everyday. Read a decent book. Listen in prayer to the Lord. Call your mother. Play with your children. Do something for the poor and the needy. These are the things that have lasting value, far beyond what work can offer you. Prayer has the power to change your life. It really does. And surely many of you remember that time where someone reached out to you in your hour of need. And finally, for most people, that simple afternoon of playing hide and seek with your dad and your siblings has proven a stronger childhood memory than a pricey vacation or the latest gadget or device. All stuff has an expiration date, even a church parking lot. The things that lead us to heaven, that nourish our faith, hope, and love, those are the things that do not have an expiration date. And the pursuit of those things is anything but vanity.